loud. Okay. And what I was saying was the reason why I decided to do this particular training is not something that I typically do, but I kept getting asked quite often from a lot of folks of like, how do you do it? Like you're a mom, you a wife, you've got all these kids. I have 5 kids, y'all, and 7 grandchildren. A lot of them are really grown. I know I don't look like I should have kids who are in their 30s, but blended we do. And it was like, how do you do it? And so I was like, you know what, let me just put something together to kind of show folks how I set my goals and how I kind of attack them. So who's this training for? This training is for people who are serious about showing up for yourself. You're ready to cultivate a life of peace, joy, and purpose for yourself, and you're ready to move past your fears and show up in all areas of your life. So when I mean that in saying when we're setting goals, it's not just goals for my business and my career stuff, but also in my personal life as well. So when we're in alignment with all those things, we can get to that place of peace, joy, and purpose. Okay. Does this sound familiar to any of you? You have goals you want to meet, but you struggle with getting to the finish line. Maybe you are a cheerleader for your friends and family. You're always pushing them to do what they need to do, but you kind of push your stuff to the side a little bit. It doesn't always get the priority that it needs. Maybe you lack some clarity on how to reach your goals because you may be an overthinker. You may even procrastinate more than you execute. You get some things done, but you tend to procrastinate a little bit, or you feel that there's not enough time in a day to get things done. If that is anybody, any of those sound familiar to you, you can put a 1 in the chat, or you can just do one of your little emojis or a thumbs up. All of these have been me at some point in my life, and sometimes it still does that. Yes, Sarah. All right, so who am I for the folks who may not know who I am? I am a motivational speaker. I'm a 2-time best-selling author, a licensed therapist, and a self-love coach. I have 2 businesses. One is a virtual mental health practice here in the Dallas, Fort Worth area. And I also have a personal development consulting company for women of color. I'm a Renee Brown Darren Way facilitator, but most importantly, I am a mom, a wife, a Gigi to those 7 babies, a sister, and a friend. So even though all of that, the most important things I think in life is just being a friend and a mom and wife. All right, so that's who I am. And this is kind of somewhat of a timeline of some of the things that I've done in this later part of my life. So in 2018, I became a licensed LPC therapist. In 2019, I started part-time in my business. And then I decided I needed to go full-time in 2020 due to my oldest bio son had some health issues that was causing a lot of medical bills. And we didn't know what that was going to look like as far as being able to financially care for him. He was 19 years old, 18, 19 years old with this diagnosis. And so I was missing a lot of work. So I felt guilty about leaving my counterparts to carry the load, and I needed more money. So I created a plan, and I decided to go into full-time entrepreneurship in 2020 and quit that job. Then in 2021, I quickly, in my group practice, I hired my first 3 employees, which is typically not the pace that people go in when they go in solo practice. So I moved pretty quickly. In 2021, I hired my first 3 therapists. I also co-authored a book that year, which also became a best-selling book. And then 2022, I wrote my own independent book, Confidence in Uncertainty, How to Shift Your Mindset and Transform Your Life, in 2022, which also was a bestseller. And then in 2023, I hosted my first women's retreat last year. That was so exciting, a lot of work. But I have a soft spot for women of color and how we do not take care of ourselves and we do not take time to rest. And so I decided to host a retreat, which was very successful last year. In 2024, we're loading. We have some things on the table that we want to do. So definitely setting goals is something I do a lot of. So here's what we're going to do in the next 90 minutes or so. We're going to assess your needs, your wants, desires. We're going to clarify by asking a couple simple questions. This is a lot of reflection, because if we don't take the time to sit and think about things, then we won't know the direction we need to go in. We also are going to look at what it will take for you to maintain consistency and take action as well today. All right, so here's the problem. 92% of Americans don't achieve the goals that they set in January. And here are a few other reasons why. They lack motivation, or they feel like they want to be very dependent upon motivation. Their goals are very, very broad. Their mindset is not in check. They tend to be very self-critical. We do as people, we're human. And we waver on believing that we deserve or can achieve our goals. And then influence is another big one. There's a lot of external expectations of what we should do, what we should be doing, or what we should have accomplished by now at this point of our lives. And that can come from social media, it can come from family, it can come from friends, it can come from the social groups that we're a part of. So all these things are some of the reasons why that 92% does not hit their goals, but we want to be in the 8%. So the 8%, I believe that the 8% wins because they have to understand that they have to make some changes with their behaviors. And when we start to make those changes with our behaviors, there's an emotional roller coaster that we go on. So before we kind of dig deep, I want us to look at what our emotional response to change looks like. So this is the emotional cycle of change. Y'all, I'm a teacher and educator. That's just part of being a therapist. So I want you to understand the emotional parts of the change that you need to make. So the emotional cycle of change is developed by these guys, Don Kelly and Dara Connor. And there's 5 stages that people typically go through when you voluntarily decide that you want to make a change and do something different. So we're going to go through these 5 stages. Stage 1 is uninformed optimism. So during the first stage, and you are very excited to get started, this is when we are like gun ho, I'm gonna do it January 1, January 8th, I'm gonna start the fast, all that kind of stuff. We're really excited about getting started. You're focused and you're ready to take action. You're gonna get your planners, you're gonna get your sticky notes, you're gonna do your vision board, you're gonna do all that stuff, do your shopping, get your groceries in the house, because you're gonna eat better and do right. So we believe in the beginning. But we also may be blind to the difficulties that may present to us later. So a good strategy to do when you're at the beginning phase is what I do is really identify why. Why am I choosing this goal? Why is it important to me? There has to be an emotional connection to the goal. So that's the strategy in stage 1 that you want to do. And stage 2 is informed pessimism. So here we're beginning to feel a little bit of frustration. We may be a little bit anxious, like, I don't know if I'm better to do it. Maybe you missed a couple of workouts. Maybe you didn't take action fully all week like you said you would. You didn't call and set the appointment up with the person, the coach or whoever consultation you needed to do, or you missed a meeting. Who knows? But you start to feel a little overwhelmed and frustrated. You start maybe to lose a little bit of interest in the goal, and subconsciously you kind of start to check out a little bit and you become less involved and you're not taking action and you're starting to procrastinate. So if this is something that happens to you, something that happens to you, then it will be a good idea to revisit those goals. Get a mentor or a coach if you need one. Maybe you need to join a support group or create a squad. And you need to challenge those self-sabotaging thoughts that you may be having. Stage 3 is the valley of despair. This is when we usually give up. Like, I'm overwhelmed. This is too much to change. That sugar attack is getting a hold of you. Or as an entrepreneur, it's just overwhelming with all the messages that are coming to you about how you should be doing things. And it's just one of you, and there's a lot to do, and you need help. So typically people will give up at this point and they'll go back to stage 1. So a strategy here is to go back to your vision, go back to that reason of why. Maybe you need to use some project management tools to keep you consistent, and build habits to support your change. So that's what we would do to kind of push past this valley of despair and move forward. Does anybody, all of this stuff feel familiar to y'all? Thumbs up or yes, that you kind of get to this point in the beginning, you're like, yes, I'm with it, I can do good. And then all of a sudden you're like, "Ugh, this ain't working out. I just want the cheesecake." Hmm. Yes, me too. I'm in that now, y'all. I'm on a fast from desserts, and desserts are my thing. And I'm in week 2, and I'm just eating fruit. But I really want a slice of bread pudding. But I'm pushing through. I'm remembering my why. I'm remembering my why. All right, stage 4, informed optimism. Here, if we push past the valley of despair, we're very confident, we're anxious. Our anxiousness has decreased significantly, and we can actually start to see progress. So, to stay in this state, we want to make sure we're using our affirmations to keep encouraging ourselves, having that good self talk, and also maybe build some rewards for the milestones as we go along. We forget to celebrate when we are doing well. So, don't forget to celebrate yourself. And then we continue on, and then we actually accomplish the goal and we achieve it. We feel accomplished. We're confident because we were able to check that off our list. We did it. We should be celebrating. And our emotional response is low because we actually did the thing that we said we're going to do. So here we want to reflect the strategies, reflect on what went well, reflect on what you learned about yourself so you can repeat it, and take that time to write all that stuff down. Okay. All right. Any questions? Everybody's good. All right. If y'all have questions, don't hesitate to raise your hands. I'm happy to answer. So now we're going to get into the actual framework of reset that I've created to kind of explain how I reach my goals. And this is going to be a lot of reflection. This is where we're going to actually do some work, and we're going to talk to each other because we learn when we talk to each other and we share. All right, step 1 is reflection. We have to look back before we can move forward, is always my thing. I hear all the time, especially since entering the world of entrepreneurship, you have to know the end. You have to have the end in mind before you begin. You have to know where you're going, and we need to review where we've been before so we know what to change. So I want y'all to answer these questions. What didn't work for you last year? What goals did you accomplish last year? And what were the barriers or distractions that you faced? If you have the workbook, it's definitely on your workbook. If you have your journal, go ahead and write it in your journal. And we're going to actively do this right now, because if I let you get off the screen, it's just going to sit on the slide or in the notebook. So I want y'all to do it now. So I want y'all to take a minute and answer these 3 questions, and please share them in the chat. Thanks, Sarah. I was on mute, just talking away. Okay, so I was saying that I see some really good answers here. Tiffany, all about the strategy. Nikisha was more of didn't have the focus. So good answers on what didn't work. But what goals did y'all accomplish? I know y'all did some things well this year. We're good at picking out what didn't go well. What did go well? Oh, Tiffany, no, Sarah says she completed and passed her classes. Good job, Sarah. School's hard. Tiffany, you finalized your strategy this month. Good job. Anybody else do anything well? Not well, or accomplish a goal? Okay, Nikisha was applying for some grants, but and being turned down. So I had to work harder on my second job to support my business. Yes, that's tough, but actually applying for grants is an accomplishment because that's hard to do. Taking time to actually sit down, do the applications is a lot. I know that from personal experience. So just don't forget, y'all, that you did take some action, and don't forget to acknowledge that. The next question I want you to answer is, what do you want your life to look like in 5 years? What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? And when you answer this question, I want you to think about a couple different categories: career work, your physical health, your financial health, your spiritual health, social life, travel, house, car, family. Where are you living? Think about the really big picture. Where do you want your life? What do you want it to look like in 5 years? Take a minute to answer that question. Okay. What do we want our lives to look like in 5 years? Tiffany says, I want my business to be thriving so that I have the option to retire from my 9 to 5. Yes. Yes. Tiffany, you want to retire in 5 years? Not you. You can take yourself out mute.
That's not me. That's Tamara. I haven't sent
Oh,
mine.
it is. It says TJ. I'm sorry. Look, see, I probably need to put my glasses on. Tamara, you want your business to you want to retire in 5 years. Tamara, is that like completely out? Is what you want?
I do. I want to have the option to do it. Now, will I? Because my daughter will be graduating from high school. So I want to have the option to do that. Yes.
To do that. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I'm with you on that. Maybe we can work on that together.
Yeah,
Let's.
I'll be gone in 5 years from doing here. I don't even think I'm gonna be working behind this chair in 5 years. That's not happening. Okay.
No, no.
Right.
Y'all got a good 8 months with me. And I'm
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, Tiffany, like my clients be telling me when I'm gonna because I plan on removing myself from the therapy chair. Like, don't be talking about no 8 months. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear no 8 months from
I'm
now.
getting old. I'm getting old. It's other things I need to do, you know.
Yes, yes. Retirement is in the vicinity is what we want.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I
And
gotta
Tiffany, you said you want to 10x everything.
yeah, I'm gonna 10x everything. So my businesses, I want to expand abroad. I want to live abroad. As far as my health goes, yes, I think once I retire, and I take care of some personal things, I believe my health will improve significantly. Um,
Mhm.
and abundance is going to come to me regardless. So, with the growth of everything the else, I believe the abundance is going to come. So the financial part is definitely it's on its way,
Mhm. Yes,
and
I
expand my
believe it too.
portfolio too.
Well, we waiting to see what the salon suite gonna look like.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things I got. Yeah.
We're waiting. Okay. All right, Sarah, you said you want to have a house with a partner and kids. You also want to you want to finish the PhD, well, be in the PhD program.
Yeah, I'm taking a wait, I don't know if the camera worked or not, but
You working?
okay. So no, there's a lot that I wanted to put, but it'd be like a decent paragraph. So I just kind of like put the top thing. And yeah, I would like to have a house and a partner and kids. And because I'm starting the classes really slow, I just want to, by that time, I think I should be accepted into a program because I'm still working on classes and things, and that's fine. That's one of those goals where I want to complete it, but if it takes me 10 years, fine. That's more about me finishing than than actually rushing. But
Mhm.
the house and the kids and the partner, that's on the rush. What Tiffany say, I'm trying to 10 times that. I like that too.
You can do
Yes, we gotta get them. I told you, look, you want them babies. You sure? Ask us about them kids. You sure?
You ain't
Yeah,
got
They be in your pockets.
I mean, yeah, that's well then that goes to like I said, there's the financial thing. I want to be do better financially so so I could feed the kids. I mean, that's the thing. And then
Feed the kids.
also I want to be healthier because I don't want to you know what I mean? I don't personally think it'd be fair for me to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna have kids," and then I can't participate or actually do because then it's more I don't want to be where I feel like they they got to take care of me or I'm not actually being active with them. I know that I wouldn't be able to do stuff like if I was younger, but I want to be able to do something like drive them somewhere and that'd be fine. So right, like, oh, I could do that. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. And Nikisha, you said that you want financial freedom.
Yes. Sorry, y'all. My camera's not on because I'm still in relaxed mode. So, but yeah, financial freedom. And I was really, I was really digging what the young lady just spoke with the headband on. What's your name?
Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah.
I'm
I
Sarah.
mean, yeah, I relate to everything that she put down, and except the children. No, no, that's a negative.
Mm-mm.
Um, so yeah, financial freedom is a big goal of mine, but it's been hard trying to just fix my mind on the end. I see the end, but that middle part I've started, but that middle part is giving me the blues.
Mhm.
So, as far as, trying to I want more passive income. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now. Make more or see how I can make more passive income. And I got a couple of, avenues under my belt with doing wholesaling with real estate, which I'm really learning. I have a class this evening. So, but yeah, the beginning I've started, but I mean, it's been some hiccups, but I mean, for the most part, I want financial freedom and I'm not going to stop until I get it, but it's just having to stay focused.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. And that's why we're here. We're going to try to work on that. All right. So next part, step 2 in the reset model is evaluate. So we need to take time to think about what do we want to keep doing and what do we want to stop doing. And this question is really directed towards habits and behaviors that you need to stop doing, or behaviors that you need to keep doing or enhance. What do you want more of? whether that's time, flexibility, travel. What do you want less of? That could be overwhelm, less stress, less disappointment, less poor health, less overextending yourself to other people, less time being busy that is not productive and purposeful. So just take a second and answer those questions. What do you want to keep doing and stop doing? Sorry about that. What do you want to keep doing and stop doing? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? All right, so what do we want more of? What do we want more of?
Well, like I said, I want more passive income so that I am, so I can, obtain that financial freedom. I mean, it's about, just getting a mindset where I can go out and achieve that goal. And it just be so tiring for me. I'd be so mentally tired, from working so much. And that's with, I currently work, to one full-time job and two part-time jobs. And that includes my baking business. And that just it becomes overwhelming, especially if I have a huge order, just got off work. All I want to do is rest. And then, the day is gone and then I don't have time for nothing else. I guess that's an excuse I use, but I do be really tired and it's draining.
Yeah. No, that's not an excuse. If you're working two jobs and a business part-time that you're trying to grow, ideally, I mean, the reality is that you probably are tired. That's just a reality of the situation. But wanting more passive income is what you want more of. It's just finding a way to gain that without the exhaustion and the overwhelm, and finding a way to do that.
And I'm not a sprying chicken no more. So
No. TJ, you were going to say something?
Yes, I think overall for me, if I had to put everything under the umbrella, is freedom.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's freedom, to have the passive income, um, freedom to rest, to connect with those kind of what I call kingdom connections versus whether that's an opportunity, for business, a person, all of the things. But I think freedom and rest and understanding, and I would say for me right now, um, that deeper healing,
Mm-hmm.
which will bring it'll bring it'll bring forth the freedom and the understanding and the clarity that I need to move in the way that I need to move, and the strategies that I need, all of those things, I think. But I would wrap it in a bow as freedom. That's what I would wrap it in a bow as.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. What do we want less of?
Less distractions, less
Mhm.
Yes.
less I would say that less distraction and busyness for me.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, less distractions and busyness. All right, Tiffany put in the chat that she wants to keep being creative. Want to be dedicated. You want a dedicated team to work with, and you will stop second guessing yourself. You want more clarity and healing and freedom and income with an exclamation point. Yes, yes, to all of that. All right, so let's keep the train moving, y'all. All right. So, based on these reflections that we've just done, I know y'all have seen the word SMART goals throughout your entire life. I don't think anyone in here is a new chicken to the idea of SMART goals. But what I do know is that most people, even though we have maybe have been introduced to the SMART goal format, we do not set our goals up that way. We still leave them very, very broad and not specific enough. So what I want us to do today is just kind of see that when we do use the SMART goal method, it does eliminate uncertainty, and it does bring clarity for us. It allows you to track your outcomes. It increases your confidence and motivation, and your ability to accomplish the goal, and it helps you to stay focused on what truly matters, so you don't have those blinders with the distractions so much, because you know specifically what you're focused on, and it creates a sense of urgency to take action and to avoid procrastination. So we're going to do a little review, and we're going to try to, I want y'all to try, if we have time, to write at least one of your goals in the SMART goal format. So here's just an example that I have just as a refresher. SMART goals are specific. The S, it's what do I want to accomplish, measurable. The M, how will I know when it's accomplished? A, achievable. How can the goal be accomplished? This is where we take the action part. Is it relevant, or does this seem worthwhile? This is my why. This is this emotion, that emotional connection to why I want to reach the goal. And then T, is it time bound? When can I accomplish the goal? So here's just three goals I just kind of hypothetically threw together. Goal number one, I like to start saving for retirement. Or some people may say, I just want to start saving. And that's just broad. But the SMART goal will look more like, I will open an IRA account by the end of January and start contributing $200 a month in increments of $50 a week. This supports my desire for financial security. So we've got, I will open an account with specifically what we want to accomplish, by when, it's time bound, January. What's the action that we're taking? We're contributing $200 a month in increments of $50 a week. What's this relevance of the emotional connection for me? I want to support my desire for financial security because I want to retire. So this is how we need to set up the goals. Goals go to, I want to run a marathon, kind of still broad. SMART goal says, I will register for a couch to 10K program and train 2 times a week for 30 minutes to run a 10K by August. This supports my desire to be healthy and physically fit. Again, specific, I'm gonna run this marathon. It's measurable. I'm gonna work out 2 days a week, 30 minutes a day. That's how I'm taking my action. And that time bound is that we're going to do this by August. And then the emotional piece is that you want to be healthy and physically fit. Third one is from maybe a business perspective. I want to increase my monthly sales revenue by 20%. That's still kind of broad because it's like, how are we going to do that? SMART goal is, I will identify new sales leads to reach 210 clients seen per month by the end of April. This provides financial means to hire more admin support and scale for growth. So you got to make sure that you are actually putting in all these elements when you're writing out the goal. Okay, and once we do that, then we can prepare to execute. So before we write them out, I want us to look at execution a little bit in step 4. Any questions about SMART goal stuff? I know it's pretty straightforward until you get your specific goal and you start to kind of write it out. Then it may feel a little different. So for execution, step 4, what permissions do you need to give yourself to take action? I love this graphic because it kind of reminds me of, I'm probably dating myself. Y'all watched the show Being Mary Jane back when it was on BET? Yes. She always had the sticky notes to kind of remind herself of what she needs to be doing. So I love the sticky notes when we're thinking about permissions we need to give ourselves. I write sticky notes. I even take a Sharpie and I write them on my bathroom mirror of things I may need to remember about myself or affirmations. So it's up in my face. So before we even start to help with the mindset piece, when we talked about those barriers in the beginning, we need to tell ourselves or give ourselves the green light for some stuff. What permissions we need to give ourselves. Then we also need to know how will we make room for our goals. This goes back to that distraction piece. How will we make room for our goals? And then also identify what support do we need to take. So that first question, what permissions do you need to give yourself? So here are some examples of permissions I've even given myself in the past. I've given myself permission to fail. I've given myself permission to believe that I deserve to succeed. I've said, given myself permission to set boundaries with family, especially the adult children of mine. And I've given myself permissions to keep boundaries that I've set for myself, because we are notorious for setting boundaries for ourselves. I'm not going to overbook my schedule. I'm just going to see 4 people a day, 5 people a day, and then such and such calls, and then you squeeze them in and you squeeze them in, and then you keep extending the boundary. So I had to give myself permission to keep my own self-made boundaries. I gave myself permission to ask for help. I've given myself permission to invest in my time and finances in my dream, and to focus on 2 to 3 goals at a time. That was a game changer, to limit the amount of goals that I focus on at a time. 2 to 3 at the max.
That might be what's going on with me. I'm focusing on too many things at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel scatterbrained
Mm-hmm.
when I do that.
Yeah, and that's what happens. We cannot divide our attention between too many things, because something's going to slack, or either it's just not going to get done. So think about what permissions you need to give yourself. And if everybody can share one, would be cool.
Well, that was it for me.
Not spreading yourself too thin. Yeah.
Yes, every time without fail.
Mm-hmm. Yes, TJ.
I have 2. I will give myself to continue my boundaries that I've set for myself, which will also, I will give myself permission to self-care every quarter. And I mean, like getting on the plane and going somewhere, not just a staycation,
Mm-hmm.
and consistently do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes, good stuff. Sarah, I see you put in the chat, you need to give yourself permission to ask for help and permission to fail. Yes, we are a culture of women, Black women, women of color, who lean into perfectionism a little bit too much. And we don't like to fail. We feel like we always have to do it right the first time. All right, so permission. So that's the first part, giving yourself permission. Here's the other thing before you start executing a goal you need to do. The question of how will you make room for your goals? So this is what I've done. I audit my time and I audit my relationships. So taking some time, we waste,
That's good.
we waste so much time.
Yes.
If you look at I am not gonna fight with y'all about no Apple versus Android today. We're not gonna do that. But what I need you to do is look at that. I know for sure on both there's a tracker that tells you how you're spending your time. It tells you how many times you pick up that phone. It tells you how long you spent on each app. It's just full of distractions. And we have so many influences via social media, also from family and also from work responsibilities. So I need you to take some time this week, if you can, and audit your time and look to see how are you spending it truly each day. And then once you do that, I want you to audit your relationships. Not all relationships are great, are good, including family and friends. So we have to be mindful of who's truly supportive of us and who's not. And also, I had to learn a good lesson that because I'm an entrepreneur, most of my friends were not, so they could not understand the world that I'm in. So they didn't necessarily want to hear me go on and on about this new marketing thing or this class or this whatever, or struggle or something I was trying to overcome. So I had to be mindful that that wasn't their world and they may not get it. And just because they didn't get it didn't necessarily also didn't mean that they weren't supportive. So just knowing who you need to, what circles you need to be in and why, and engage accordingly. So doing a friend audit every year. If I'm pouring into folks and they're not pouring back, they're off the list. We just not gonna.
Listen,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
message.
Uh-huh. Yes. If I'm pouring and I'm the one that's always calling and reaching out, trying to make sure that you're okay or what's going
Yes.
on with you, that's time I'm wasting. You're not pouring back into my cup because I'm naturally I care about people just naturally.
Yeah.
And so I want to
Mhm.
make sure that everybody's okay. I want to make sure that you have what you need, or if it's something I can help you with, that I help you. I sit and help you do a strategy, and I need to be doing my stuff. I have to be mindful of that because if you're not doing the same for me, not that relationships should be transactional, they should not be, but they definitely should be fruitful. They should be
Yeah,
fruitful.
sure.
Okay. So make sure you're doing your audits. Another thing you need to do, that last question on before you start executing your goals, is what support do you need? Investing in coaching and in mentorship was a game changer for me. It was something that I wasn't comfortable with at first, because I'm like, oh, what if I invest in this person and then they don't give me what I need? And that's gonna happen sometimes. But you research and you invest in the right person, they can get you to that next step that you need to be, because you don't know everything. I didn't know everything, so I had to reach out to get the help that I need. I feel like God gives us all gifts and talents. There's no way that we can know the all of everything, and so we're placed. I pray for divine connection with people to give me what I need. I really focus on that. Lord, send me who I need to connect with to get me where you're trying to get me to go to serve your people. Because our purpose is not about us. Our purpose is always tied to how we're going to impact somebody else. So coaching, investing in coaching is what I did. Investing in training, whether it's to enhance a skill that I already have, I've done that, or either to fill a gap in a skill set that I needed to make the transformation that I needed in the lives that I was trying to touch.
Well,
So,
can I? Oh,
yes. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that uh oh, lost train of thought. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, let me know when to come back.
Okay.
All right. So domestic support is the other thing. Learning that it's hard for me, being an entrepreneur, to work on a business and do the laundry and the cooking and the grocery shopping and take care of even though they teenagers and young adult children, they still need their mama. And my husband too, and my mother lives with me, and I'm a caregiver for her and her doctor's appointments. It's just a lot of things. So bringing in domestic support is important. So if it is in your budget, now don't overextend yourself. If it's in your budget to have somebody come clean the house, have them come clean the house twice a month or once a month. If paying the $99 for the year subscription to Instacart So you can just have those groceries delivered. It's going to save you time. So you can work on the goal and take action. Then sign up for the Instacart, please. And my ultimate goal is to have a house manager. In Jesus' name, you hear me?
Come on, house
Ultimate goal is
manager.
to have a house manager.
Not a house manager.
Right.
Yes, a
Can
house
Me too.
manager.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, can you go further into house manager? What do you mean?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So
Come on with that.
a house manager is someone that can come in and do some of that light cleaning and things that you need done around the house. You know how you order the stuff from Amazon and you need to take it back because you need a return. They can do all those returns for you. They can do food prep for you. It's just like a personal assistant, but has greater responsibilities depending on how much you trust them, and how much you want to how much responsibility you want to give them. But someone who manages your house, because typically as women, we manage our houses as the wife or the whoever. We're managing everything in the house. Or if you're single, you're managing your house. So to have someone to come in to help with all the light bulb needs to be changed. Or maybe you need to call someone on TaskRabbit to come do it, but they can do that for you and get all that stuff handled. So yes, house manager for sure is my next
Um,
goal.
would care.com have someone like that to come
They
in every now
do.
and then? Okay.
Yes, exactly. That is where you shall go and find you one.
Okay. And then you probably could have the same person come, on a routine basis. Okay.
Yes, you can start off with simple. You can go on care.com and find somebody to come for 5 hours a week if you want to start that. You develop a relationship with them and then you can bump it up to 10, 15, 30 if that's in your budget to do. But yes, house manager. Yes,
I
CJ.
like it, but I am not there yet.
But you will be.
Okay.
Yes, me
Yes.
too. I want
You
two.
too.
I don't just want
Not
one.
two of them.
You won't. Hey,
Hmm. Yes.
two. Look, I'll say two. I'll say two as well. Look, as long as I don't have to do the grocery run, I just don't. Or the laundry. But the other thing on the list is an accountability group. Now, accountability is, we feel like accountability is there's a consequence. Like we need somebody to keep us in line. Or if we don't, if we show up, then I'm going to be in trouble. And so we feel like that makes us show up and do what we need to do. But in actuality, accountability really is actively confronting the truth with freedom of the choice, and the consequences of those actions. So accountability is actively confronting the truth with freedom of choice and the consequences of those choices. So not that somebody else has to hold you accountable. This is about your own individual self holding yourself accountable. So the purpose of the group, it's impossible for them to hold you accountable because either you're going to do it or you're not. But what the group can do for you is provide a space for you to share with one another and encourage one another and have that time to get some feedback. And then maybe also the thing that was a really big game changer is having a squad. It's been a year. This month is my 1 year anniversary. I think it's actually next week that I formed my first true squad of other business owners. I've been in a lot of different business Facebook groups and things. Those are cool. You can learn a little bit, but having a dedicated group of women, there's 4 of us. We met at a conference, which was it was divine connection, I believe, because I met them in Puerto Rico. 2 of them out of the group live 15 minutes from me in 2 different directions, but we met in Puerto Rico. And the other, I met in a training 2 years prior. And she lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we met for the first time 2 years ago. well, last year in Puerto Rico, and then we all just kind of came together. But what happened that's different from an accountability group is then a squad is a squad. I feel like we do life together. It's not just the accountability of showing up in our businesses, but it's also about showing up in our lives. We check each other with love when we're not showing up like we need to show up, when we're not giving ourselves the grace that we need to give one another. We pray for one another. And we show up in each other's businesses, events, or things that we're doing, and we either we paying to go to the other person's event, or we're showing up and we're working without asking for monetary return to pour into the other person's group. We're just doing it because we believe in collaboration. So that's the difference with a squad to me. Accountability group, you're showing up, you're talking 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and just kind of checking in on the progress of things. The squad is going to do that, but we're going to go beyond that and build these greater relationships. But those were game changers for me. Does anybody have a squad or accountability group?
No, I'm trying to build one. I mean, but it's hard because, I'm I'm a single person, and some women that are married and have children. I mean, it's hard to kind of collaborate, but I do consider the one person that I have a friend, and she does pour, and I appreciate her, and I try to support her the best way I can, and she make the best cookies. Oh my goodness.
The bakers unite. The bakers unite.
Yes. See, I don't make cookies. I'm the cake and the cupcake.
All right, TJ, you were gonna say something?
I'm trying to think, like, man, accountability. I have those that kind of check in,
Mm-hmm.
but squad. I have a couple, but overall, and maybe that's enough. As I'm thinking about it, like maybe my couple is enough. There are those I can go to
Mm-hmm.
and talk business and personal and be covered, and um but I am that for a lot of people, which is I'm trying to I'm still trying to make adjustments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like you, pouring into so many, and it's hitting me that I am in a season where, you know what, I gotta have that. It's not an option anymore. I need somebody to pour into me. So yeah, let me sit down and think about. I have a couple.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't have
in
to
my
have 10.
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't have to have 10. You don't. You're right.
Mm.
But I do have a couple that I know as part of my squad that are my safe places I can go to and pour into and check me,
Yes.
and say, yeah, my stuff stink.
Yeah, that's right. We
Yeah.
need that. We need it.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. That's good.
All right. So
Mhm.
now we're gonna circle back to actually writing the goal. All right. So I want you to think about your goal in the form of 12 weeks. So this is a method that I adopted from the 12-week year. Does anybody, I don't know if anybody's read that book or heard of that book, but it's
No.
called the 12-week year. And so typically when we write our goals, we think, okay, this year in 2024, I'm going to do this. And what happens is we think we have all year, which is a lie, because I swear it was just Halloween and then Christmas, and it's about to be Valentine's Day. Okay. So we do not have time. So if we
No.
think about, yeah, we don't. So if we think about our year in 12-week, not quarterly, because this can start whenever, but in 12-week increments instead versus and get away from the annual thinking, then we will kind of cultivate that sense of urgency that we typically get around September, October, be like, okay, we're about to be at the end of the year. I need to kick it into gear and get my stuff done that I said I was going to do. So we're actually trying to evoke that every 12 weeks, that same feeling. So this is just a template where you would write your 12-week goal, and then that why this is critical, reason, that emotional connection, I should achieve it, what the permissions you need to give yourself to reach that goal, and then how you're going to hold yourself accountable. And then down here at the bottom, this is where that strategic task action taking happens. You're going to put your task, the actions that you're going to take, and what date you're going to do them, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or a specific date that you're going to do it by. So it'll look something like this. Start date, January 1st. 12 weeks later is going to be March 25th. I'd like to start that saving that $200 a month for retirement for that IRA, the emotional connection. I want to retire with financial stress by 55. Maybe some permissions you may need to give yourself was maybe limit Christmas gifts to immediate family only and not everybody and their mama. Maybe it's tell my adult children or family, no, I cannot do this, that, or the other. How would I hold myself accountable? Maybe it's having an accountability meeting with a spouse, or if you don't have a spouse, maybe a financial planner, weekly or monthly or whatever. So you're going over those numbers of what has taken place. The actions that you're going to be taking. Set up an IRA account with Vanguard by the 30th of January. Set up an automatic draft for $50 a week by February 2nd. Weekly, I will be depositing $50 into my IRA account every week. So those are the actions that we're taking. So it's specifically giving you what you're focusing on. So you're not distracted by this other thing I should be doing, or maybe I should do that too. No, you're writing down specifically what you're going to be doing to make that action, to take that action to make that goal achievable by the end of the 12 weeks. The other goal we had about the increase my monthly revenue. We're putting that at the top. Reason why we're doing it, we want to hire an admin assistant so we can have support staff for our clinical staff, so I can free up time for revenue building activities. Permissions, require more from my employees. Keep my scheduling boundaries. Accountability, have accountability meeting with, I should change that. Sorry about that, but have the accountability meeting, not with my spouse, but my head of admin, so we can make sure that we're tracking what needs to be done and how well we're doing on tasks. So some of those specific tasks that I would be doing is audit expenses by the 30th of the month. Maybe I'm emailing 5 new potential referral sources so I can get to that 210 that I mentioned before. Sell 8 spots for my intensives by March 1st. Send out a newsletter to my current and clients weekly that's talking about all the groups and things that we're having and services. Post 3 times a week on social media. Those are the actions that I should be doing every week. Does this make sense? Yes. All right. So everybody give me one goal that you want to work on this year. You have identified, and I want you to write it like this in this format.
Okay. Are you gonna send us that format?
You were supposed to buy the workbook, friend.
Oh, okay.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, that's my sister. I can talk to her like that. But yes, I'll send you a template, sister, because you're my sister, and my mama would fuss if I didn't.
Thank you.
Okay. But right
But I
now
do
you can
have a
use the
goal.
paper. I do, but you can write it on paper and pencil right now.
Right.
Tiffany gonna scale to $1 million in sales this year. I love it.
Heard that.
My question is, are we doing just the 12 weeks, or are we doing the whole year?
12 weeks. We're thinking of 12 weeks, not the year. What do we want to accomplish in these first 12 weeks that we're going to be identifying? Whether you start your 12 weeks on Monday of next week, or if you start it tomorrow, what do you want to accomplish in the next 12 weeks? So Tiffany's going to scale to a million sales. That's her yearly goal. So she's got to break that down to what out of that for the first 12 weeks, what are we focused on? What goal are we focused on? Oh, Sarah, you want to take a dance class? That sounds fun.
Yeah, I used to take a lot of dance classes. I haven't did it in years. So yeah, I would like to do
Okay.
that.
All right. So you want to take a dance class. That's broad. So that's the big one. So how do we narrow that down? You want to take a dance class by when? Is there a particular type of class you want to take?
No, I'm like, um, mm, I don't know. I guess I should look that up. And I just knew I wanted to take a class.
Okay, but you can make that as part of your goal. You can say that part of your actions, part of that will be you need to identify what type of dance class you want to take by January 20th. And then the next action you would take is schedule the class by January 21st. And then you can say whatever, how many times per week will you go to class? Those are the action steps. Your why do you want to take the dance class? What is that? How's that benefiting you? Oh, that's a good one. Nikisha, bring all your credit cards down to 10% utilization. Yep. Mhm. All right. So y'all get the picture. You just got to be a little bit more specific. All right. So here are some success tips that I also found very helpful is having a routine. Again, we talked about that 12 weeks instead of year annual planning helps us stay in a place of we got to get it done now. And then for success tips, we want a routine. Routine consists of creating a plan every week. You want to score your progress every week, and you want to attend some type of accountability group every week. I meet with my accountability group every Monday. Monday morning at 10 a.m. is when we meet. And in that group, before that meeting on Sunday, or or maybe Friday or whatever, just before that meeting, you need to take about 15 to 20 minutes to decide, based upon those actions that you set for each goal, what am I going to be attacking this week? What am I going to be attacking this week? That is part of your plan. Then you will meet with your accountability group, go everything, do what you got to do, support one each other, and get the feedback. Then strategic blocks. So strategic blocks of time, I feel like we've been doing strategic blocks, but we didn't know we were doing strategic blocks probably since we were kids. If you had the kind of parent in the household where on Saturday morning, the music would come on around about 8 o'clock in the morning, and you knew your mama said it's time to get up and clean up. And you would probably clean up around about 8:30 to about 12 o'clock. That was just part of our life. So that was called a strategic block. You knew every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, it was cleanup time between this time and that time generally. So this is the same thing you need to do for your goals. You need to schedule strategic blocks. I do know not everybody can do 3 hours at a time. Typically, that's what I do. On Mondays for about 3 hours, it's uninterrupted time. No emails, no phone calls, no text messages, no nothing. For 3 hours. And I am executing that plan that I set up as part of my routine. That's what I'm doing on Monday morning. I don't see clients on Mondays. I don't see clients on Fridays. I'm strategic blocking. Yes.
I don't either.
Yes. Yes. I'm strategically blocking time. Then the other success tip that I found helpful is buffer blocks. And the buffer blocks is when you deal with more of the unplanned stuff. That's when we are answering the emails, returning text messages, phone calls, the stuff that we can do that we feel like is a little bit mundane. That's not as much of a high value thing that we need to do. But it does help us stay focused and have greater control of our day and our schedule. So we're not blinded and distracted by that stuff when we are in our strategic mode. And you should have about maybe 30 minutes a day. This works too when you're at work. Like for folks who are doing a 9 to 5, this works for you at work too. Like if you have a boss who doesn't, there's nothing urgent where you don't have to be answering an email, that they're okay as long as you get back to them that day, you can still set up this strategic block to get certain tasks done without being distracted by emails and phone calls at work. And then have 30 minutes that you put into your day to return all of that, respond to all those people. Then we have breakout blocks. Breakout blocks are 3 hours a time when you are away from work, away from the business, and you are typically doing tasks or activities that are restorative for you. That looks different for everybody. Restorative is not one shoe fits all. Some people restorative is organizing that pantry. That's not mine, but it's other people's. Organizing is their thing. Other folks is taking a walk or a bath or whatever you want to do. Okay. So you want to take 3 hours and spend some time doing it. And I know sometimes that is hard too, depending on your level of responsibility. I know some folks got little people that got practice and games and this and that, and you're running around a lot, but try to get at least an hour. At least an hour. And then we have, again, the accountability piece. Going to your meetings. And then measure progress. So when we're tracking our progress each week, which is going to lead us right on into step 5, which is the last step. How much action do we normally take a week? So what that's going to look like is this. Looking at your week at a glance is going to give you that confidence and motivation that you are doing what you need to be doing. We're not focused on the result. We're focused on how many actions did we take. Because if you take an action, you're going to get the result. So don't focus on the scale that it didn't say that you lost 20 pounds already, or that you don't have the 20 new clients. But did you take the actions that you said that you were going to take? And if you're doing that, then you should get the result. So I always believe in practicing gratitude. So every week, just make sure you're tapping into what you're grateful for. Maybe you have some motivational quotes that you're also going to be focused on for the week. But then you're going to write out your strategic moves, those actions that you took. And then for each goal, remember I said no more than 3. You're going to add, if goal 1 had 5 actions and you took 3, then you had a 60% rate of completion on action taken. Maybe the other goal, you got all 3 done. That was a 100% action taking that you had. Typically, if we have at least an 80% rate of action taken, we're going to hit our goal for the most part. Just 80. You don't have to have 100% done, but at least 80%. Okay. Any questions? Concern? I think I did good on time, y'all. I'm at the end. Hey.
Yeah.
I told you I'm efficient about time, because time is money and money is time. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna adopt that.
Yeah. So today we talked about how you assess your needs, your wants, your desires. You gain some clarity, I hope, by answering those questions, and how you were able to maintain your consistency. Just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Do the reset framework, implement. That is the thing, that consistency of action taking. And then reflect some more, see what worked well, what didn't work well, what you need to change, because we are evolving people. Our lives impact things, our environment impacts things. And sometimes we may have to switch some stuff up. And then get back to action taking after you reflect some more. Okay. If you are in a space where you want some additional help, y'all, I don't sell. This was a one-off training, but if you want more accountability, I do one-on-one coaching, and I do accountability sessions. I group into like 4 15-minute sessions that you can spread out over a month or 2 months, however you want to do it. But you can always find me on the social media at one of those things. Questions, concerns, comments? No, we good. All right. Y'all go have a wonderful MLK Day. If you're in the Dallas, Texas area, please strip your faucets. because it's freezing outside, and stay warm and off the roads. My husband went out this morning for work and there was snow in certain parts of the DFW area, and they sent them back home. He works
Wow.
he works for Brinks, and so they're usually out on the roads getting people's money, and they told them no today. So just chill out. Okay. All
Done.
right. We are done for the day. Y'all go and be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes.
Nice to chat with you, ladies.
All right.
Bye, sissy.
Bye, girl.